looking. Ziegler gets the ball to Meshack. Meshack's going to take it. 2 seconds. Meshack, 1 second. Launches the three-point shot. Good! At the buzzer. Meshack wins it for Tennessee. With 3.8
3 days ago, number 5 Tennessee welcomed number 6 Alabama to the Food City Center in one of the most anticipated and massive matchups of last year. It was Jahmai Meshack from almost half court to seal the deal for the Volunteers, buzzer beater style. And as you can see, chaos ensued. Can Tennessee do it again? Let's break it all down. And folks, welcome to Torch Sports. We are so excited to bring you yet another show packed with news from all of our sports surrounding the Volunteers. I'm Alex Carpenter, joined here by my good friend, Mr. Jack Glennon. Alexie Cowan's on my left, and over on the corner we have Jordan Smitherman. Now, guys, we have a lot to cover today, including this matchup against Alabama for the men, and of course the women welcoming an impressive number 5 Vanderbilt. Also, stay tapped and stay tuned for updates on recent performances from our baseball and tennis programs. But before we get into any of that, our very own Grayson McGinnis has what we assume is the final update for us on the Joey Aguilar case. Grayson, what update do you have for us?
Thanks, Alex. We have what will likely be our final update for Joey Aguilar's court case. Joey Aguilar has been denied eligibility for the 2026-27 college football season. It was determined by the court that if Aguilar were to be given eligibility for next season, Aguilar, who is using a Tennessee-specific law as the basis of his argument, would be competing in games that would be held outside the state of Tennessee, which would provide an unfair competitive advantage and would violate the Commerce Clause, and thus the Tennessee Trade Practices Act would not apply. Aguilar's party did not provide any evidence that would prove that not enforcing the JUCO rule would positively impact or affect the public or public interest. In fact, it was determined that allowing Aguilar to return could provide a negative impact for consumers of NCAA football because of the confusion the case would cause regarding the NCAA's eligibility rules. The court also said that Trinidad Chambliss and Charles Bediaco's cases have no effect on this case because they used Mississippi and Alabama law respectively, and Aguilar's party is using Tennessee law. The court determined that the evidence presented by Aguilar's party does not prove that the JUCO rule has a substantial anti-competitive effect, especially since Aguilar's party only framed the effect towards Aguilar and not towards the increase or decrease of NIL for other athletes who could benefit from this ruling. Since Aguilar's party argued that the JUCO exemption would only apply to him, it ultimately hurt his argument that the JUCO rule affects trade or commerce. The evidence presented by Aguilar's party does not follow the substantial effects outlined as defined in the case of Freeman Industries v. Eastman Chemical Company that states, for the Tennessee Trade Practices Act to be applied, there needs to be substantial effect on Tennessee's commerce. Because of the unfair competitive advantage, the impact on consumers, and the lack of evidence by Aguilar's party, the court denied Aguilar's injunction. Aguilar could submit an appeal to the public. However, he has only 23 more days to do so. Next up for Aguilar is finishing the NFL Combine this weekend and the NFL Draft in April. That's all for Joey Aguilar. Back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Grayson. And what an incredible situation that has just really taken the reins of the NCAA. Does anybody remember Charles Bediaco? Did I jog your memory?
Yep, I do.
That's right. I'm talking about that G League player that tried to come back to play for the University of Alabama, with his first game back being, of course, against Tennessee at the end of January. Well, as his case moves up the ladder to the Alabama Supreme Court, similar to this Aguilar situation, he is back off the roster and will not be on the court tomorrow.
Now, get this. This week, he filed an emergency motion requesting the Alabama Supreme Court to respond by Friday so he could play against Tennessee. Now, against Tennessee, he just had 13 points, so not that big of a deal. And Alabama's 5-0 without Bediaco. Yesterday, he played in a FIBA game in Canada. So I doubt he's going to show up.
He better
crazy.
not.
What a load of hooey. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. How many times, as we of spectators and fans of college athletics, do we have to go over this? It's 5 years. You get 4 years on a redshirt year. Now you got guys playing 7 or 8 years, guys going professional and then coming back to play in the same season. The guy was on the two-way roster of the Philadelphia 76ers, and he's playing games for the University of Alabama. I just don't understand.
I don't understand either. There's even some people going for their 9th year of eligibility, which is just mind-blowing.
Pack it up.
Pack it up, folks. And this game is going to be exciting whether he plays or not for the Vols. When Tennessee is on it's very hard to beat them. Here for the X's and O's and the best hardwood breakdown in town to break down this great matchup between the Crimson Tide and our Volunteers, it's the play-by-play crew, Charlie Fernandez and Nick Rose. Guys, what do you have for us over there?
Yeah, well, thanks, Alex. Got a close win against Bama last time. We're going to go ahead and take a look at what worked last time against the Crimson Tide in Tuscaloosa. First play, Estrella is going to set a screen. It's going to give Ament some room to work here. The defender's laying loose off of him. That's going to give Ament just enough time to hit up a free throw. Easy bucket for him.
Yeah, Charlie, as Alexie mentioned, 29 points for Ament. Here I want to take a look at Felix Akbar, who had a good game against Bama and Mizzou last time out. Look at where he starts. He's on the perimeter, comes in, boom, off the glass. He provides a big rim-protecting presence for the Vols.
A lot of things Akbar can do. I want you to watch this play. Akbar, he's not part of the play. Back turned. Boswell has the ball. Gillespie's going to come around and screen. As soon as he gets the ball and Gillespie screens, that's Akbar's cue. He's going to go dunk it for the alley-oop.
Yeah, Charlie, this time Nate Ament, explosive. He's been attacking the rim much longer and more aggressively. Look at that finish through contact. This is what Ament has been doing recently, not so much against Missouri, but it has been effective for him.
Yeah, Nick, that was beautiful. I mean, Nate Ament, it's almost as if Rick Barnes is just letting him play, letting him loose, and he's just doing whatever he wants on the court now.
Yeah, and he's going to need that, and the Vols are going to need that come Saturday. Alex, back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, guys. We always appreciate your hard work over at the board.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough matchup for Tennessee. Alabama can beat you in so many ways. Fourth in the SEC, 36% from three, but they're also shooting 58% from inside the arc. This is not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. I don't care if you're at home. I don't care if you're on the road. A rivalry game like this, 17 versus 22, it's a clash of two Titans.
It's not going to be an easy game, but look at this. Rick Barnes has won 5 straight against Bama. It's never an easy game, but Tennessee always seems to pull through. The last time they lost against Alabama was when I was a senior in high school, during the 2021-2022 season. I'm a senior in college now, if that gives you some perspective. So, and Nate Oates has a winning record against all SEC teams except Tennessee and Florida. So even though it's going to be a tough game, it always comes down to the wire. Tennessee will pull through.
Well, I tell you, it doesn't matter how good Alabama is, how good Tennessee is. It's always going to be a close game. In 11 of the series' last 13 games, it was within a single-digit margin, and that's exactly how it's going to be tomorrow night as well. I think what you need is for Nate Ament to get hot, like always. The last Alabama game was when he had his first of 3 29-point games. And if you can have that standout game from him, if you can get 30 from him, he told us he didn't want to get 30, which I think is funny. But if you can get 30 from him, that's what I want to see. That Alabama game was where they said, Nate Ament, that guy's good.
If I was you guys, I wouldn't be so confident. This Alabama team, you got to play physical defense, but you have to play clean defense because they can make you pay at the free throw line as well. I mentioned their shooting percentages from the field, but they shoot 76% from the free throw line, much better than Tennessee, who is below 70. They allow the most rebounds per game to opponents, but Tennessee has allowed the fewest rebounds per game to opponents, so you have to beat Alabama on the glass. Felix Akbar, JP Estrella, Jalen Carey, Dwayne Brown, I'm looking at you. You got to box out. You got to get the rebounds. That's how you're going to win this game.
So we have confidence over here
Yes.
from you. We have
Yes.
not confidence from you, and a little bit of in between
It
in the
could
middle
go either
here.
way.
Think about this. It's orange out. They're giving light-up wristbands to every person in the arena. It's going to be like Taylor Swift Eras Tour, like flashback to that time. The vibe's going to be high, and then you're riding off the high of the Meshack buzzer beater. I mean, Tennessee lost in an electric atmosphere against Oklahoma, so they may not win this game, but I'm confident that they can pull through.
Were you at the Eras Tour, I assume?
Yes. Best night of my life, anyways.
How could I?
Well,
Of
I'm
course.
wondering if you have a confidence, well, obviously you don't have a confidence boost, but if you're more motivated or less motivated after that Missouri game.
No, more. You have to be.
I would be more.
It's
More.
lighting a fire under your team. When you lose a game like that to an unranked team, yeah, albeit on the road, you come back home and you're like, okay, this is a home game. We're playing in front of our home crowd. Big game. Prove that we're back still in that top tier of teams. You got to beat them.
Okay, think about women's basketball right now.
Completely
Why are we
different-
talking
completely
about
different
women's
sport.
basketball right now? This
Completely
is
different
men's
sport.
basketball.
And Rick
I don't
Barnes has
see
been
no
coaching a heck of a
motivation.
lot longer than Kim Caldwell has. I'll tell you that.
I'll let them
That is
talk
true.
about that.
And you can stay tuned for more on our women's basketball cast up next. Just a little plug there for our next crew coming up. But that's going to wrap up what we have here. And, of course, as you all know, last week, Torch Sports was deeply saddened by the news of the passing of Wes Rucker. Our very own Luke Lamery took a look at the impact of his legacy in Tennessee athletics journalism. And I'm telling you, it's a big one. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back after this.
You're on fire, Wes. You're on fire.
Wes Rucker's presence covering Tennessee athletics was felt just by being himself.
You just knew who Wes was because of the way he would talk, the way he was unafraid to speak. Oftentimes you didn't know if he was talking to you or not.
And his legacy still lives on, Daily Beacon sports editor Trevor McGee says, by a guidebook where he left breadcrumbs of his personality, even 20-plus years later.
Do not use ever under penalty of death and dismemberment. That is exactly the kind of guy he was.
The same trail WBIR digital journalist Shelby Wright says he's left on her and the entire Channel 10 newsroom.
It's been quieter, but also people have, I think it's just one of those really unfortunate things that brings people together.
And even though work was a mainstay for Wes, family was everything. And if you talked to him for more than a few minutes, you were likely going to hear about them.
The way he talked about his family so much is very idolizing because it is such a time-demanding industry.
And while Wes was a master at keeping balance between work and family life, journalists say there was often a reason he would stay at work late. And it's not because he was behind on stories, because if Wes came home from work too early, his son Hank wasn't going to sleep. He was going to stay awake and play with his dad.
The only reason he stayed late Tuesday night at baseball is because he was saying that his wife wouldn't let him come home because his kid wouldn't go to bed if he did.
And sometimes he would purposely stay at work extra late so Hank could be put to bed. And so he wouldn't fire him up when he got home and wreak havoc on the household.
A husband and father first, journalist second. Rest in peace, Wes Rucker.
Thank you, Luke Lamry. What a great piece on a great man. And we encourage you to give what you can to support the family in these difficult times. But we welcome you back to Torch Sports, friends. And let me tell you, I have a great cast here with me, but let's get into Lady Vol basketball. Let's take a look at another Lady Vol sport that has been dominating as of late before we get to that Lady Vol hardwood hoops. Here to update you on the #1 ranked Lady Vol softball team is Chance Jones. Chance, what do you have for us on the diamond?
Thanks, Alex. The #1 ranked 14-0 Lady Vol softball team will be hosting the Tennessee Invitational this weekend. Appalachian State, North Carolina Central, and 24th ranked Penn State are coming to town for an exciting few days of softball. The Lady Vols will play App State today at 3 and follow that up with a game against Penn State scheduled for 5:30. The Lady Vols will play Penn State again tomorrow at 3, North Carolina Central at 5:30, and close out the Invitational on Sunday at 12:30 against Appalachian State. Tennessee is 11-0 against App State all-time, and this week will be the first time they've seen each other since March of 2023. Tennessee is 1-0 versus Penn State all-time, and this will be the first time the two programs have seen each other since 2007, and Tennessee and North Carolina Central have never gone head-to-head before this weekend. The bats have been hot for the Lady Vols, outscoring opponents 113-5 so far this season. Junior Sophia Knight leads the team with 25 hits and a .543 batting average, and junior Gabby Leach has 16 hits with a .410 batting average. However, the real dominance has stemmed from the pitching mound once again this season. Sophomore Aaron Newer has emerged as an elite presence on the mound, allowing only 3 hits in 24 innings, all the while tallying 30 strikeouts. Meanwhile, senior Carlin Pickens is picking up right where she left off last season, collecting 42 strikeouts in only 31 innings and allowing only 11 hits. It's no secret the Lady Vols have been the consensus #1 team in the country so far this year, racking up 6 ranked wins so far, and they'll look to add to do that just again this weekend against Penn State. That's all I've got. Back to you at the desk, Alex.
What an incredible force on the diamond for Lady Vols softball. Incredible. Thank you so much, Chance. And back to the Lady Vols basketball, and they've had one of the toughest schedules in the nation as of late. 6 of their last 10 games have been against ranked opponents, including 2 games this past week that have been against top 15 ranked teams. The road, unfortunately, does not get any easier for them as they will play host to #5 Vanderbilt Commodores this Sunday.
Well, this matchup, Alex, will be nothing short of a uphill battle here on Rocky Top. The Vanderbilt Commodores are 25-4, like you said, they're ranked #5. And they're second in the SEC. They run a high-tempo, elite scoring offense, and they have what can simply be considered as an Avengers-level threat in Michaela Blakes. Over the past 7 games, she's dropped 35, 35, 27, 34, 34, 37, and 30. Over 7 games, she is averaging 33 points. And might I add, before last night's matchup against the Alabama Crimson Tide, she played all 40 minutes in the last 3 games.
Yeah, definitely another tough opponent for Tennessee to face to end the regular season and senior nights. But You know, Vanderbilt and Tennessee, they kind of have a similar play style in the fact that they're both physical, they're both aggressive. But one thing that Vanderbilt does much better than Tennessee is ball security.
And score.
And score, that's true. But Tennessee's defense is going to have to really come out and be able to stop Vanderbilt's offense and force these turnovers on defense, which they haven't been able to do. And a key for them is going to be disciplined, not play sloppy like they've been playing the last few weeks.
Yeah, that's right, Lauren. And I happen to be wearing Vanderbilt colors today on accident.
What's going on with
I don't know. I mean, I'm from Nashville. I mean, shout out 615, so maybe it's just in my blood. I don't know. But look, yeah, okay. I mean, Vanderbilt, they're a tough opponent. And Tennessee, I mean, what happened? Going from 6-0 to 2-6 in their last couple games. I mean, and they've been shooting similar numbers. They've been shooting about 40% from the field, about 29% from three. But the ultimate problem is, like you said, stopping Vanderbilt and stopping opponents. And look, and they've been shooting similar numbers. They've been averaging 46% from the field in their last 8 games. And like you said, Michaela Blakes, but they also have Justine Passat, who's second SEC in 3-point shooting, and they also 87 made threes this year. That's most in the conference and 5th most in the nation. So they have other weapons other than Caleb Blakes.
They also have a freshman threat in Aubrey Galvin, a shifty freshman guard that facilitates the offense really well, and she's not afraid to pull up from anywhere. Watching their game earlier this week against Kentucky, she was chucking up shots I've never seen before and just sinking them from wherever.
And yeah, I mean, they've been dominated in the paint as well. I mean, the paint points, it was absolutely brutal last night against LSU. It was 50-30. They allowed 50 points in the paint from LSU, and they've only won the paint battle 4 times out of 15 SEC games. So if they're going to win, especially going to the SEC tournament, which we're going to talk about, look, they're going to have to do it in the paint.
And again, Tennessee played a good battle against LSU last night, and were unable to get anything going. I don't know if that gives you any. You think that gives you momentum going into this matchup on Sunday?
This third quarter, I'm sick of watching this team in the third quarter.
Yeah, there's no momentum, in my humble opinion. No momentum with this team whatsoever. 2-9 through February says enough.
That just says all you have to say for it.
And look, going to the SEC tournament, seriously, there's absolutely no momentum for Tennessee going into the tournament.
Now, let's send it over to the board once again, where we have our analysts who have been very hard at work. That's right. It's Nick. It's Charlie. What's going to be the keys for this Sunday's matchup?
Thanks, Alex. The Lady Vols are going to need to tighten up on defense. They've been very lackadaisical on that side of the court. Let's go take a couple looks here from the Sooners game. Here, fast break opportunity for them. 4 Lady Vols have an opportunity to get in front of the ball handler and make it a tough shot, but they don't and allow an easy layup instead, Charlie.
Yeah, defensive struggles continue. Watch Sahara Williams, top of the key. Mia Paulo, this little jab step is going to catch her right here. And I want you to notice down here, Jada Sybil, her eyes are on the ball. What does she do? Nothing at all. She just lets her get it. She's get caught sleeping down there. Does nothing at all.
Here, entry pass into the post. C. Spearman wasn't able to secure it. Another fast break opportunity for the Sooners. Who's going to stop the ball? Nobody. It's been abysmal on the fast break side, Charlie.
Yeah, here we've got an inbound play. Sahara Williams, top of the key once again. It's going to be some play fighting down here in the paint with Alyssa Latham, and she's just going to get beat out one-on-one.
Yeah, it's been really poor, especially in the paint. This time, Pearl gets caught napping on the give and go, looking away, flat-footed. The offensive player blows right by her for an easy layup. As Matayaus said, they were getting beat in the paint fairly badly. That's a big reason why.
Yeah, no excuse really overall for the defensive struggles. You know you're going to have ranked opponents playing. Tennessee will go on to play the number 5 Vanderbilt Commodores. Alex, back to you.
Thank you, guys, and a big matchup on tap for this weekend. And, man, just no forward momentum. Those third quarters are tough, but it doesn't get any easier for the Lady Vols because it is tournament time in Tennessee. Tennessee's going to head to Greenville, South Carolina next week. I believe the team's leaving on Tuesday for the SEC tournament. As of right now, the Lady Vols sit at number 7 in the SEC, earning them a first-round bye. Looking at the bracket, as you'll see here on the screen, the Lady Vols are predicted to play the winner of number 15 Auburn versus number 10 Kentucky.
And look, I want to see an improvement from Tennessee. I want to see the stars of this team show that they can be reliable. Players like Cooper, players like Barker, and even Spearman, who's the team's main inside player. Look, because right now, it's too hot and cold when it comes to these 3, and they need to show signs of consistent killer instinct. And because Tennessee, they need someone to rely on game in and game out, especially on the offensive end, because these numbers, look, they don't tell the whole story for this team on the court. No one seems to have stepped up to that role, and no one seems to be a game changer on this team. But I believe that Cooper, Barker, Spearman, and even Paula to an extent. She's coming off injury, but she definitely has potential out of all the freshmen to make a difference on the court. Because while most of the teams in the SEC have their it factors, Tennessee seems to switch theirs game by game.
Matayaus, I feel like you say inconsistent every single week.
Exactly.
Which it's true about this team, for sure. But the key for this Tennessee team is going to be defense. Defense, defense, defense. And Kim Caldwell said at a press conference just a few weeks back that her team is the most passionate. They're finding the most momentum when they're getting those stops on defense. Look at January. They were holding their opponents to under 60, a ranked Alabama and a ranked Kentucky, 59 and 58 points. In the month of February, Tennessee's opponents have scored 80 points. The only team that did not put up 80 was Texas. So the key is going to be defense, especially in that transition. They have to have some sense of urgency, get their feet in front of them so they're not having to use their hands and draw these fouls, because the fouls have been a very big upset for the Lady Vols recently. It's been a very big part of their losses.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am excited to show a little something. Drum roll, please.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Little, yeah, thank you, thank you. Something that I call the 5 T's of wisdom, aka Taylor's tips to the tournament. Look, this is what the Lady Vols need. Look at that. I mean, come on now. So here are my tips.
Got a little bobblehead going.
Yeah. So first up, no more stop and pop. Look, last night versus LSU, the Lady Vols had 10 assists. They're not playing inside out. That's something Coach Caldwell's been harping on. You have to attack the basket first, then look for the open shot. Second up, you've heard the saying, think before you speak. You have to think before you shoot. Last night, the Lady Vols shot 27 for 71. While 38% from the field was one of their higher percentages as of recently. They rank 8th in the nation in field goal attempts, yet 142nd in actually made attempts. Next up, something we've been harping on. You know it, you love it, limit turnovers. They're averaging 15.5 turnovers per game. And last but not least, it's already been broken. Last night with the Lady Vols loss, you have to stay away from the top of the bracket, the top of the SEC tournament. Now that they fall into the number 8 seed, they have to potentially face USC and or LSU. Right now, there's a 3-way tie between the 6, 7, and 8 seed between Kentucky, Ole Miss, and Lady Vols. The Lady Vols have to win if they want to have a chance to proceed in the SEC tournament.
That was beautiful, Taylor.
I'm
really
so glad.
Beautiful. If we could, before we go to break, could we pull up that SEC bracket once again, just to take a quick look at that? Because you were mentioning staying away from the top of that bracket. I think it's important to look at the road ahead for this Lady Vol team if we could. Just to take a look at, here's some of the stats here. Again, you see the fall off of the Lady Vol team here as they've just been able to just be 6-1 to 2-6, guys. Just tough.
It's been a rough February, not just for single men, but for the Lady Vols basketball
They just
team.
need March to be here.
Here it is right here. As you can see, look at the road ahead. South Carolina, if you can take care of business for Arkansas, Alabama, and then you get a matchup with LSU again, gonna have to try and just get lucky, you know. Tough sledding, but we're gonna move on now. And again, we're gonna see what happens. We'll be back here next Friday to break it all down. But a couple of weekends ago, and this is a great story, by the way, a program by the name of Dream on 3 put a dream weekend together for Taylor Lunn, a middle schooler from Farragut, Tennessee. Lunn is a 2-time leukemia survivor, and our very own Sophie Starkey got to sit down with her and talk to her about her weekend with Tennessee athletics. Let's take a look.
13-year-old Taylor from Farragut, a 2-time leukemia survivor, got a celebration she'll never forget as she lived out her dream weekend with Tennessee athletics. She says it all started with a simple request from her dad, hinting something big was coming.
My dad was telling me how I need to get my nails done Tennessee themed, and that's how I figured it out. I was just like so happy, I can't even describe it.
The weekend was months in the making with Dream on 3, the University of Tennessee's collegiate dream team. And for Captain Sophia Hickey, pulling off the surprise made it even sweeter.
So we surprised her at the cheer practice with the entire cheer squad, which was unbelievable. And her school's football team came and cheered her on. And then this past Friday, we got to go to her middle school, surprise her in art class, and we had Rocky Top blasting through the hallways, and it was just really sweet surprising her and seeing the look on her face.
From a $500 shopping spree to cheering alongside Tennessee's Spirit Squad, the highlights kept coming, including a surprise meeting with Bishop Boswell that left Taylor speechless.
Hello, how are you?
Oh my goodness!
Are we doing an interview?
Yeah.
I can get you an autograph when you're done, all right?
Okay.
All right, sounds
Thank
good.
you.
I don't want to crash.
Oh my God.
For Taylor, it was a weekend full of orange and joy, years in the making. Reporting from the Food City Center, Sophie Starkey, Torch Sports.
What a wonderful opportunity and great work on that package by Sophie Starkey. And welcome back, folks. Before we wrap up here, we have a few more updates for you guys on the other volunteer teams happening. This is an everything school, they say. And let's take a look at Vol baseball, which has gotten off to a solid start, a couple of ups and downs in the roads, but they start the season with 6 wins and only 2 losses. And here to give you more on the team, live outside of Lindsey Nelson Stadium, is Jay King. Jay, what can you tell us about this team so far?
Thanks, Alex. I'm here right outside of Lindsey Nelson Stadium as the Tennessee Volunteers have traveled to Arlington, Texas to play in the Amegy Bank College Baseball Series starting tonight. This will be a weekend of firsts for this year team, as this was the first time that they're playing on the road, the first time that they're playing Power 4 opponents, and their first time playing a ranked opponent. This comes after a shocking series loss just last week to the Kent State Golden Flashes, their first out-of-conference series loss since 2020. Tennessee will be looking to improve its hitting with runners in scoring position, as they left 20 runners on base this weekend, and its fielding as well, as they had 5 combined errors in those 2 losses. The Vols had the perfect opportunity to bounce back as they play the top-ranked UCLA Bruins at 4 p.m. today, as they are coming off a loss to the San Diego State Aztecs earlier this week. On Saturday, they play the 8-1 Arizona State Sun Devils, and on Sunday, they play the 7-1 Virginia Tech Hokies to wrap the series up. If Tennessee can get a winning record or even a sweep, they will look a lot more ready come SEC play. Alex, back to you.
Thank you, Jay. We appreciate it, and I'm sure myself, along with many other Vol fans, are going to be trying to figure out how to access Flow Sports to watch these games. Another team that has been making a statement in Tennessee athletics as of late has been the Vol and Lady Vol tennis teams. Our very own Connor Whitney is currently at Barksdale Stadium, here to give us an update on them. Connor, what's going on over there?
Hey, thanks, guys. Well, right now, Tennessee tennis is heading in opposite directions. The men are currently 0-2 in conference play with road losses to Kentucky and Vanderbilt, and really the sore spot for them all season long has been the doubles session. In each of their 6 losses this season, they've dropped the doubles point, and across their last 7 matches, they have rolled a different doubles lineup. They just don't really have right now a doubles pairing or tandem that can consistently or reliably deliver them success in the double session. And last week when I spoke to Associate Head Coach Matt Lucas about any certainty entering SEC play with doubles, he said, quote, "No, to be determined." Tonight they'll have their opportunity to change their fortune, starting against 18th ranked Auburn right out here at Barksdale Tennis Stadium. And then on Sunday they have a doubleheader starting with Oklahoma at 11 in the morning and then at 5 p.m. later that night against Belmont. As for the Lady Vols, the vibes are pretty good right now. They're the 14th ranked team in the nation, and they're 2-0 in conference play following wins over Kentucky and Mississippi State. And really the central driving force of their success this season has been the play of senior Layla Brites-Riso, who is currently top 25 ranked in both singles and doubles. She's unbeaten in her spring singles sessions to this point, and in SEC play, she's been simply dominant in the singles session. She's dropped just 6 games total across the 2 matches she has won. And when our friends at the Daily Beacon, Theo Colley and Nathan Miles, spoke with head coach Allison Ojeda, Ojeda said of her senior, quote, "She never gives up. She literally gives everything that she has for every single point, and she loves to compete." The Lady Vols are back in action tomorrow. They're on the road in Tuscaloosa, where they will take on Alabama, and they will look to hand the Tide their first loss of the season. Alex, back to you.
Thanks, Connor, and we'll keep you posted on everything going on inside both of those programs. And unfortunately, that is all the time we have here for today. I hate to see it go, but don't worry, we'll be right back here next week with more coverage of every sport at the Everything School. To stay up to date until then on all the news surrounding Tennessee athletics, be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at TorchSportsUTK and on X at TorchSports_UTK. Thank you all so much for watching. We love doing this each and every week. And hey, let's beat Alabama this weekend. Let's beat Vanderbilt. And may all of our Tennessee athletes have good luck. We hope you have an amazing weekend. See you next Friday. And as always, I'm Alex Carpenter, and go Vols.